And there's lots of stories I could tell about that. But anyway, that was the most fun job I ever had. I had because that camera system was used in every operation done with the shuttle operation. So
don't be nervous, Raymond. It's okay. It's a lot easier when we're sitting around eating dinner and tell me all this.
So with a half a dozen people that were involved in this, what was amounted to a satellite RCA office, where we maintained and did all the astronaut training, helped with all the experiments. I got involved in everything that was going on with the shuttle until 1983. Anyway, the digital cameras are an enormous convenience in that if you have something wrong or you want something to take a picture of damage or a problem on board the shuttle, you can take it with a digital camera or on the space station and send the radio, or telemetry, the picture down, and it can be examined on the ground immediately. There's no delay. And this is an enormous problem. This is an enormous advantage when trying to solve any problems where you need help of engineers on the ground. And there is no radiation damage.
Now, but going back, you didn't have those during Apollo, though.
That's right. These did not.
And they're claiming that their film cameras, these pristine, big glossies, hundreds and hundreds of them, total in the missions, thousands, from the moon with no damage on them. As an engineer who worked with these cameras, who worked on the program, who worked on Apollo, on all of it, is this a load of bull?
I don't see how it is possible to have escaped any damage to the photographs.
Now, you privately told me what the scuttlebutt is, though you weren't on those secret programs, that they do have, and we know they have secret programs, that they have the space planes, all of it, and that this was all basically a PR front. But I mean, can you talk about that? Or?
Well, let's see. One of the things that happened, of many, I have the RCA put out a monthly newsletter, a company newsletter like most companies do, that have a large number of employees scattered at multiple installations. You get a newsletter from the company that tells you basically what's going on in the company and so forth. So I got one that told about an engineer, or about an experiment they did where they flew an object around, that this object canceled gravity.
Stay there, okay? And then we're going to get into the secret space program as much as you can get into, or little bits and pieces you picked up. But this is already huge news, ladies and gentlemen. Engineer, frontline, NASA, Apollo program, working in the optics, working in the photos, saying it's impossible. We'll be right back. In fact, we're going to continue talking for PrisonPlanet.tv members during the break.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
People who use card.
Okay, Raymond, for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers, we're just going to continue talking as we don't have time. We'll repeat it in brevity coming back in, and then we'll show people the mug and the rest of it coming back. We'll have to do a part 2 soon, too. But please continue.
Okay. I called RCA headquarters up and asked to trace down the publishers of the document and asked them about the article. They denied it even existed. Even though I was one of their employees and I had the document in my hand, I got a real load of BS over it.
Okay, well, I want to repeat all that when we come back, because I want the full audience to hear it, not just those on the Infowars.com streams or watching PrisonPlanet.tv right now, Raymond. I want you to, I know you can't say as much as you say when we're out to eat or around the office or something, and but I mean, specifically, NASA admits that 80+% of their program is secret. Bob Bowman here has talked about the space planes and the uranium, solid core weapons they drop and the fleet of robotic craft. And the only reason he can talk about that is because he talked about later a Reagan official at a public meeting blurting a bunch of classified stuff, so that now that's in the public domain. The only reason he could talk about it. And I know you specifically didn't work on all that, but we know there's a huge secret program. And I mean, can you elaborate on why you believe and the evidence you have, the pieces you put together of how we have a secret space program?
Well, anyway, this article in the magazine described an object that could be flown around a room that canceled gravity, that it did not have a means of propulsion, and it used some sort of electromagnetic effect that canceled the effect of gravity on it so that it could be moved around. The advantages of being able to do this technically, and it was done before by Nikola Tesla back in the early 1900s.
But the FBI seized all that.
And see, you have the shuttle is covered with tiles to keep it from being burned up on reentry, and all the nose cones. The Apollo command module had this huge ablative heat shield on it to keep it from being fried coming in. Well, if you were able to nullify the effect of gravity, you could fly it out at 30 miles an hour or something like that, whatever you wanted, that would not cause overheating. So
it revolutionizes everything.
It would literally revolutionize all forms.
Okay, Raymond, we got to go back live on the radio. Our TV viewers are seeing this right now at PrisonPlanet.tv, so I need you to repeat that. That's why I wanted to tell a little bit more of the backside story. I know you don't want to speculate like you do privately with me, and there's some other stuff you don't want to get into here on air with folks, but we're going back live right now.
888-USE-SFR1. That's 888-USE-SFR1 today.
All right, Raymond, continuing back to, you get this internal, but it's still not secret, RCA for employees spread out at installations all over the country and the world. You get this newsletter. Tell the story in more detail.
Well, anyway, I get this letter where they're able to fly this object around in an experiment. So I thought, well, this is great, and why are we wasting our time with rocket propulsion when we should be working on this? So I called up the...
And they were specific in there. They said it was canceling gravity.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, and they totally denied it was true. They even denied the article was there, even though I had it right in my hands. So it got down to the point where there was no use to arguing with them. There was nothing I could do about it. I couldn't get my hands around their throat and wring their necks like I would have liked to.
Do you still have that?
No, I don't. I don't know where it is. I have it somewhere, probably.
I know how it is. Yeah, I can't find half my stuff.
But anyway, they denied it. And like I said, Nikola Tesla had run the same type of experiments earlier. And even though the shuttle is an impressive device, and I sat on all the contractor meetings.
Well, Werner von Braun drew that in the early 30s. I mean, von Braun had this shuttle concept for Hitler.
Okay, anyway, they had all these contractors like Lockheed, Grumman, you name every Boeing, every one of the major airframe builders made a proposal that had the shuttle, or a shuttle-type craft, flying on something that looked like a 747. And these not only had regular jet engines, they had ramjets and so forth. The idea was to get the shuttle as high and fast as possible, have it take off on its own internal fuel tank and propulsion system, and have a recoverable system.
Space plane.
It would be a space plane that would be launched off the back of a 747 type.
Yeah, you've got a whole bag of documents,
yes,
photos.
I was looking at a photo for the shuttle on the back of a 747. But anyway, that is quite doable. But the 747 is not fast enough, nor is it intended. Well, in the first place, the shuttle is launched with an enormous and very expensive fuel tank that holds liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen.
That's the center, right?
That is that huge fuel tank that the shuttle looks like a bug on the side of, and it has two huge solid rocket motors on either side to lift it on launch. It burned for 2.5 minutes. Okay, that was never intended to be the case, and it violated most of NASA's safety policies as far as the danger of working with and having those solid rocket segments, because they used a perchlorate rubber or sulfur type fuel. I don't know what the exact composition was. And aluminum. It had a lot of aluminum and perchlorate in it, potassium chlorate. If you dropped a wrench or something on a segment that was setting around the